Hello everyone, welcome to the Primp Show, the story we tell ourselves. We have a guest here named Nabil Khan, in which he will tell the story that was a life-changing trip to Pakistan. Nabil's first cousin named Maz tells the story from a first-person perspective. The title of this story is A Journey to Pakistan. Let's hear it.
Journey to Pakistan. I knew that my cousin Nabil was coming to Karachi, Pakistan. On December 11th, 2015, Nabil was leaving school early for the 3-week trip during winter break. His family was coming here because they had not seen us in over 11 years. One of Nabil's uncles was sick, so Nabil's family wanted to see how he was doing. Also, my sister's wedding was going to take place, and Nabil's family was excited to attend. It was during lunchtime when Nabil had to leave school. When he got home, everyone was rushing to ensure everything was packed. Before they got here, I was wondering whether Nabil had enjoyed a plane ride, since I had never been on one. I was getting ready for Nabil's family to arrive at my apartment. I dressed in nice clothes and was going to be on my best behavior to make a good impression because I hadn't seen Nabil in years. I was told that Nabil's plane had landed. I did not know what to think of Nabil. Would he know Urdu? Would he be disgusted by the environment? Would he be a snobby American who did not want to come to Pakistan? I was nervous to find out. Then, Nabil's family arrived at my apartment building and came up on my floor. "Hello, Maz," Nabil said to me while shaking my hand. "Hello. How was the plane ride?" "Very long and boring. You won't believe this. The flight was 16 and a half hours. Can you believe that?" "Oh my god, how do you sit in a plane for that long?" "I just got used to it." Nabil seems pretty cool so far. I thought I was relieved. When Nabil saw his family again after 11 years, he had visions from the past visit. At the same time, I had the same experience like Nabil. It was like we were telepathically communicating. I saw his vision in his eyes, and he saw my vision in my eyes. We both recalled on how it was like when we saw each other years ago. When I saw Nabil walk in, my first impression was that he's going to be shy to talk to me. But Nabil wasn't afraid, and he asked me to go hang out with him. I started to be close friends with Nabil as we had fun hanging out. I was pretty close to Nabil's age, considering I was turning 15 and he was 16. I was sure that I was going to have a fun time with Nabil in Pakistan. The next morning, Nabil's family went to someone's house, but he did not go. I told Nabil, "Your family went to someone's house?" "Oh yeah, they went to my aunt's house," Nabil replied. "Do you want to play some games on a computer?" I asked. "Sure," replied Nabil. We went to the computer room and played Tetris and had fun. That evening, I showed Nabil my Xbox 360 games. Nabil's jaw dropped because I had tons of games that he wished he had. While playing, Nabil told me that he remembered the horrible stench outside, the intense traffic, and the disgusting trash on the streets from last time he was here. He said, "I don't know about this, Maz. I feel uncomfortable here. I don't feel like this is a safe place to be. The electricity just went out. I'm already starting to feel unprotected. I've heard some facts about Pakistan, especially Karachi, where there have been bombings, shootings, and crimes. I just hope all this stuff doesn't happen again. The people are so rude here too. I wasn't even interested in coming here in the first place. Also, I heard that the streets are really filthy, and I was probably going to get sick. I just thought that I wouldn't like Pakistan at all. It wouldn't be the place for me. I wanted to stay here in America since it was so much better," Nabil told me. "Oh really?" I said shockingly. "Well, you will have a great time with us. I'm going to make sure that you will enjoy this trip." I hope I will," replied Nabil. The next few days went by, and Nabil had fun with me and others. Then it was the day where my older sister and my other cousin had a henna occasion for the wedding that was going to take place in the next few days. All my cousins came to my floor of the apartment building. Nabil was interested to see how the ceremony would be. Many people put henna on my sister. I felt so excited for my sister. The groom was tall, attractive, and muscular. He was both my and Nabil's cousin. This meant that the two cousins were going to marry each other. This often happens in Pakistani culture where people marry their cousins. This may sound strange to Western people who don't do this. Dinner was ready, and I quickly busted out of my bedroom where all the boys were to eat. Nabil came and waited for the elders to eat dinner. Then he grabbed some chicken and stew and bread. He wasn't as cautious about the food like he was about the street food. I could tell from Nabil's face that he was going to enjoy this food. While eating, Nabil told me, "This food is amazing." I nodded because I was too busy stuffing the food in my mouth. Everyone danced after dinner, especially me, with my great one-leg hopping move. Music was blasting through the windows. I thought that Nabil might not have so much fun because Bollywood music was playing, and I'm not sure if he listened to Bollywood music. But Nabil said, "This is so fun. I enjoy dancing. I like the music that is playing. It gives me the rhythm to dance." "Oh, really?" I replied. "Just like every day in Pakistan. We always have family get-togethers and music." Nabil's eyes widened and started to get more excited. Nabil and I were having a boisterous time. That night, Nabil, me, and some others cousins played Ludo. Ludo is a board game in which you have to eliminate other players and get to home by rolling a dice. Nabil knew that what Ludo was, but he had not played that much before. He was having fun playing. Nabil was laughing at the jokes that others made while playing. Then everyone fell asleep at about 5 a.m. When Nabil woke up at 7 a.m., he did not feel well. He had an upset stomach. Then he went to the bathroom and thought that he just needed to use it badly. But after he got out of the bathroom to wait for breakfast, he rushed back to it and vomited in the toilet. "Something's not right," he told me. "What is it?" I asked. He just lay down on the bed groaning with stomach cramps. I was confused as to why he had just vomited. I said, Maybe you vomited because you drank a lot of soda last night." Nabil nodded as he was still thinking about why was this happening. Nabil's mom came in and said, "The food that you last night made you vomit." I heard what his mom told him. "Bingo, that makes sense now. Great, now he has food poisoning and the wedding was soon." Almost a week went by and Nabil laid in bed. He told me, "See, this is why I didn't want to come here. I feel so ill. I knew that this was going to happen. I can't do anything now," Nabil explained to me. "I know, Nabil. I've gotten sick too, but I'm sure you will recover fast. I promise that you will have fun. Just rest for now." "Okay, I will see. Thanks." I felt bad for Nabil because I didn't expect him to get sick and that he could not even get up. Everyone was having fun while Nabil was laying in bed ill. How was he going to enjoy this trip now? I really wish that I could hang out with Nabil. It was not as fun with him. That evening, Nabil was taken to the hospital because he was really weak at that point. I was hoping he was going to be fine. Nabil's parents told the doctors about the situation. After he came back from the hospital, he told me, "I'm feeling better now. The doctors gave me an IV so I can get energy and not stay dehydrated. I had an IV for 30 minutes. "Oh, that's a relief. I'm glad you're feeling better now. Get some rest because tomorrow's a big day." The next evening, I was getting dressed for the wedding. I wore a big fancy salwar kameez, a Pakistani style clothing. It was black and golden threads on the edges that made it more eye-catching. Nabil wore a simple maroon one. I asked Nabil, "How did I look?" "You look sharp," replied Nabil. I liked the maroon shade of Nabil's salwar kameez. I went with Nabil to sit in the car before everyone else. Others came in the car and drove off to the wedding place. The bride and groom went on an elegant horse carriage. When I got to the place with Nabil, we started to look around at the beautiful decorations that were on the walls on the tables. There were magenta and orange-colored roses on the tables and a fancy couch on stage. Hundreds of people were going to attend the wedding. People started to come in and it got crowded quickly. Then the bride and groom came and everyone gave them space to walk into the ceremony area. Many pictures were taken of the bride and groom as they were posing and smiling. I was getting into many pictures since I like to take photos with people. I made Nabil take photos with us. He told me, "Wow, this is such a beautiful wedding. Everything looks so nice." The whole time during the wedding, photos were being taken and the bride and groom were pronounced husband and wife. They wore flower necklaces as a way of completing the marriage. They both went into a car outside and drove off. After the wedding, everyone arrived at the apartment and there was a bedroom where it was specially decorated with red and white flowers for the bride and groom. The next day was a walima, which is basically the second part of Pakistani wedding, the wedding banquet. For the walima, the men had to be professional dressed. Nabil wore a full tuxedo while I wore vest with a tie. The Valima venue was so very pretty. There were blue and white roses on the tables and a couch area. There were men playing music in a corner. Nabil told me, really liked the different themes of the wedding and the Valima. The wedding color scheme was orange and magenta, while the Valima color scheme is blue and white. The Valima was also going to include hundreds of people. Everyone was looking very fancy, especially the bride and groom, as they both walked down the middle aisle between all the tables. A few minutes later, people started to arrive. Then the bride and groom were taking photos next to the stage area where it was decorated by flowers and lights. Pose by pose, the bride and groom were taking endless photos and selfies. Meanwhile, I was walking with Nabil and others to also take photos. I asked Nabil, "So, what do you think of the Valima so far?" "Very fancy and beautiful. I like the music playing and it's crazy how many people there are." "Yes," I replied. "This is how weddings look like in Pakistan, you know. Lots of people attend and the places are really big and pretty." After a few hours, the Valima was over and everyone went home. The next day, everyone woke up around 5 a.m. to go to my uncle's farmhouse. I told Nabil, the farmhouse is located in a city called Garo, where there are many shops and communities. There's also a wind power plant that is currently being built. The place lies on the Indus River. I've been there many times and it's really fun. Wow, you must really enjoy it. I hope I will too. The drive to the farmhouse was 2 hours long. The traffic in Pakistan is so bad that there was one moment where everyone was literally scattered and around in one area of the road. Every vehicle was facing a different direction, and that took about half an hour just to get out of that. While everyone got to the farmhouse, Ma showed Nabil around the place. "This is a really neat farmhouse," Nabil told me. "Yes, it's huge and it has everything you need to live," I replied. I showed Nabil the huge yard in front of the farmhouse where we played many games. I also showed him the pizza oven, which Nabil didn't expect in a farmhouse. "Wow, there's a pizza oven too? I've never been to a farmhouse like this," Nabil said in amazement. "Yes, but it is not used much," I replied. There was also a swimming pool, but the water was filthy, so no one could swim in it. There were a few bedrooms in the farmhouse, and one had a TV. There were many cows, goats, and chickens, all of which looked well fed. When it was breakfast time, everyone ate freshly cooked eggs with bread. Nabil told me, these eggs have a mouth-watering taste. Each bite is so warm and mushy. They taste different from the eggs I ate at home. That's because these are fresh eggs from our chickens." After an hour or two, everyone walked to a nearby village. There were many children living there. Nabil's sister had arranged money from Interact Club to build a bathroom for the villagers. The villagers were Sindhis, a type of ethnicity in Pakistan, who were living in huts that they built, and were very poor. There were many children and a few adults. They barely had any food and shelter. They were all covered in dirt, and many were barefoot. After watching the bathroom being built, we went back to the farmhouse to eat lunch. For lunch, there was chicken, fish, and lentil with rice. Nabil ate the moist, tender chicken and the fish that was caught in a nearby pond. After lunch, everyone played cricket, which is a national sport in Pakistan. I taught Nabil some rules in cricket. Nabil got a good few hits that made the ball go outside the yard area. He also got someone out by catching the ball, which traveled pretty fast in midair, with one hand. "I really enjoyed playing cricket. It is so fun to hit the ball," said Nabil. Cricket is one of my hobbies. I love playing it all the time," I told Nabil. Then, around 4 p.m., it was time to go back into the city of Karachi. We were all tired when we got back, so we showered and went to sleep. The next day, Nabil's siblings and I went to a small grocery shopping mall. Nabil brought an ice cream bar. As everyone was leaving, a poor kid came up to Nabil and said, "Can I have your ice cream bar?" Nabil hesitated and gave it to the kid. My younger brother and I asked Nabil, "Did he steal your ice cream?" "No," I replied Nabil. He asked for it and I gave it to him. He is a poor kid, and I would have felt bad if I didn't give it to him. He needs food to survive, and we need to care for others too. I wanted him to enjoy it, and besides, he needs food more than I do. I felt so proud of Nabil for doing the right thing. A few days later, everyone went back to the farmhouse to spend 2 nights. Nabil again began to feel ill. Maz, I feel ill again. I can't play with you, I'm sorry. Oh no, again? How? You didn't eat anything that was contaminated, right? No, replied Nabil. I don't know how this is happening again. I don't want to feel ill for the rest of the trip. That would be unfortunate. I won't be able to hang out with you anymore, and I only have a few days left here. While struggling to stand up, Nabil tried his best to fight his stomach illness. He struggled to sleep the 2 nights while having to use his bathroom consciously. Nabil didn't enjoy this moment at the farmhouse. After the second night, the morning, everyone was leaving, and when Nabil got back to Karachi, he felt better. Hey Maz, I feel better now. That's good. Every day of that week, all the cousins were invited to some of my uncle's houses. Everyone had tons of fun, especially Nabil, from eating delicious food to playing fun games like poker. On Thursday, December 31st, 2015, everyone was getting ready for the countdown of New Year's. As soon as it hit 12 a.m., everyone was saying happy birthday to me because it was my birthday too. Nabil was jumping up and down as he was patting me on the back and singing happy birthday to me. The next evening, my birthday was celebrated. There was scrumptious food with cake and ice cream for dessert that Nabil really enjoyed. Then, on January 3rd, it was Nabil's last day in Pakistan. He said goodbye to everyone. He told me, "Wow, this was an amazing experience. I had so much fun with all of you. I would never forget this time. Now, I feel complete opposite of how when I got here. I don't want to leave now. I really connected with everyone, with you and everyone else. We are all a big family together, and I care about you guys. I also love the wedding and the valima. I love the culture and environment around here. The traditions are so amazing. I never liked listening to Bollywood music, but now I will listen to it all the time. I also improved in speaking Urdu since I wasn't so fluent. I liked hanging out with Pakistani people and having a great time. The weather here is so beautiful here. Honestly, I would live here in the future instead of America because it is so much different here. I want to stay with you guys. I don't want to go back to America. I wish I could stay here for longer. I have become more connected to Pakistani culture. This was one of the best experiences I've ever had. Wow, Nabil, don't worry. You will come here again." Nabil's family headed to the airport, and I said, "Goodbye, Nabil. See you again." "Bye," replied Nabil. "Thank you for giving me such a memorable trip. I'll keep in touch with you through WhatsApp." "Yeah, we will definitely do that." I'm so glad that I will be able to change Nabil's view about Pakistan. I thought, and as Nabil went inside the airport. Finish. So that concludes my story.
Wow, what an interesting story. I liked it. It was very thoughtful. Now I will interview you. How would your story have been different if written from your own perspective?
So if it was written from my perspective, it wouldn't be as different because like Maz, I was always hanging out with him and we were always together. So we always did the same things together. And if I wrote it from my perspective, it wouldn't be as different since like we both did the same things and like we both had our own opinions about what was like the wedding or the farmhouse, So it wouldn't be different at all. We would just have the same like worldly basically.
Thank you for your response. Next, I'll ask you, how reliable is your narrator?
I would have to say that Maz is probably the most reliable narrator ever. And this is because he knew how I was feeling exactly. And we were like really close to each other. Like he was like my best friend. And probably even more than a best friend. He was like a brother to me because we always he knew like what I was doing even when I was not even around. He was told, and he knew everything about me. So he's probably the most reliable character that anyone could have. And if Maz be able to write a story like this, he would probably choose me as narrator too, because he would probably think I am really reliable.
Thank you. Lastly, how much of this story is fact and how much is fiction?
Basically the whole entire story is this fact, but there's some like little fiction portions of the story. Like for example, the part where the ice ice cream where I give the ice cream to the kid. When that part happened, I just gave the ice cream to him, and then Maz did ask me, "Oh, why did he steal your ice cream?" But what actually happened was I didn't tell him that like, "Oh, I need care for this kid and like he needs food." I just told him, "Oh, yeah, I just gave it to him. He didn't steal it from me." That's all I told him. And also, another fiction part of the story is that when I was at the farmhouse, I didn't really think it was a really like amazing, top-notch farmhouse. I thought it was cool, but like not like top-notch, like the best farmhouse ever. So I just kind of like exaggerated, like how it was so good. So yeah, that's what I think. That's all the fiction of the story.
Well, thank you for letting me interview you. I liked your thoughts from the questions I asked you.
And thank you for you having me on my show.
Well, that concludes all the time we have. Thanks for listening.